what is Google Cloud Platform, why one should prefer Google Cloud Platform. Now, if you're convinced with those 4 points, let's see at a very high level, 10,000 foot high, what are the various GCP services. 200 plus services are there, and each and every day or every week new services are going to be added, upgraded, all those things. Let's look at a very high level, and we can categorize almost every GCP product under this 5 categories at a high level. The first one, networking. Why networking is very important? As I mentioned, without networking there's no cloud, so you cannot expect any cloud infrastructure without this. So networking is very important. That's the first category. And you will see a few concepts like firewall rules, VPN, all those things. That's the first category where we can divide everything into the one first category. The second category is our favorite one, virtual machine. I guess everybody would have created, at least used a virtual machine, or at least used a laptop. And I guess everybody is seeing it from a laptop only this entire session. So you would have used a laptop, how a laptop works. The same thing, if you want to get it in a virtualized form, that's where we are going to use various compute options. There are few options like compute engine, Kubernetes engine, all those things. And the list keeps on growing. So there is one more product called as Cloud Run, which I have not added for a specific reason. Just for your information, recently I got recertified also in the cloud architect. So it's 2018 I finished, 2020 I recertified, and in the exam when I did it right, these new products were not at all near in the exam. So my assumption was, if you do a recertification, why do you do recertification? Basically to upgrade your skills, to see whether you're up to mark with the new products and all. So there was a product launched called as Cloud Run, which comes under this compute option itself, the fifth component. This was launched in 2019 Google Next event. So I was under the impression, so I'm going to get some questions on the latest stuffs, was so prepared. And when I took the recertification, it was a disappointment. The reason was most of the questions was based on the 2 years back questions only, on the products which was 2 years old only. So I did not see that thing. So I thought, okay, why don't I at least emphasize this in the slide, saying that they may, I'm not sure, at least when they update the exam. So maybe for you people, by the time you finish this course, maybe the content is updated. But till last 16th January, 16th of January, last Saturday, the content was the same. Because how I know it, there was one of the previous batch student cleared it. He called me and told, and it was the same thing, Mahesh, what you mentioned. It is all old uh, old products only, no new products questions was there. Cloud Run, Data Fusion, there are some new good products, but there's no questions on it. So just remember that. So I'll also keep you posted as I progress, because there are previous batch students who are learners who are taking certification. I usually get some updates. From them. I'll keep you posted that whether the content is getting refreshed or not. So that's your second category, which is compute, to do some processing. Once you process it, once you process it, like if I were to give a small example, I would say network is going to be a foundation. First, you have to have a foundation. So have a kitchen. That's the first thing. So once you have the kitchen, then how do you do the processing? So you need to have a stove, or a gas stove, or an electric stove. So you have that this thing. Now once you start cooking, you have to store it in some container, right? That's where this storage is going to come into picture easily. So you store your stuffs after you have done those. You are cooking something, you need to have a container there. That's where the storage component is going to come here. And there are good amount of storage components in GCP, like a normal database to a complex database like big table, which can handle petabytes of information easily. Once you have done the storage, but if the volume is bit huge, assume relatives or groups of people have come to your house, and the normal vessel which you cook may not be a fit there, so you need to have a bigger container because the volume is huge. So that's where You may use products like big data. So the volume is huge, the type of data is huge, the velocity, the veracity is different. So you are going to use big data set of products where you are going to look into some products like data proc, which is nothing but our Hadoop cluster. We just saw that in our previous slide. BigQuery, which is a warehouse. There are a number of products here, and also few products which is becoming very important these days, IoT. There's also a statistics. If you see, the number of connected devices in the entire world is more than the entire population in the world. So it's 3 times more, because every human has a 3 device minimum. So even your mobile is a connected device, so it's an IoT device, I would say. So how you can do analytics on top of it, we will explore that in IoT core. That's your fourth category. And the fifth category is the ultimate one, Google's unique stuff, AI stuff, artificial intelligence stuff. So where we are going to look into those things. So it's a top 5 categories, and our modules are going to be based on this only. So usually we should start with networking because that's the foundation. But I'm doing this training almost like from 2000. 18 or 19 if I'm not wrong, 18 I guess if I'm not wrong. So various courses have various people have trained. What I have got was as a feedback most of the time, networking is little difficult, Mahesh. If we could have made it slightly later, we could have learned it better, is what I have heard it from many people. So based on that only, what I felt, we'll make this networking as the module 5. So let's get used to GCP concepts very well. So that's the reason module 2 is going to be on IAM. Module 3 is going to be on compute. Module 4, so if I get my highlighter, so this is going to be a module 3. This is going to be a module 4. This is your module 5. And this is your module 6. This is your module 7. So this was only based on the feedback which I felt, and I also felt that yes, networking could be an overkill for a person who is not coming from a networking background. By the time you finish module 4 on storage, you would have at least got a good amount of exposure in GCP. So at that time, looking into networking makes more sense. So that's the reason. But if you ask me literally, we should first look into networking, but we will not do it. To make you comfortable, we'll do it at fifth module. Now, almost like I feel the IAM is the toughest one. I would totally agree with you, Vivek. No even single thought on that. The cloud IAM is the most difficult one, the most important one, and that's the reason we are going to do it so in detail in our class. 12 hours we are going to spend on it, and it's an horizontal. It's an horizontal. It's going to be applied for virtual machines. It's going to be applied for your big data products. It's going to be applied for your networking also. Now, almost we have heard in bits and pieces some products, right?